We are now a little under 2 years into this journey with Midnight Society and DEADROP, and as of today, the recording of this video, DEADROP Snapshot VII has been out for 1 month at this point. So this video is my State of DEADROP video for Snapshot VII. I've been doing these for every single snapshot, diving into a lot of different topics, the state of the game in a lot of different ways, the development of it, what lays ahead, what is in the game now. This video should be useful to you, even if you've been playing DEADROP all along, kind of to look back and look ahead at the same time, or if you're just checking in with DEADROP, you've kind of been loosely following its development. This will definitely get you caught up and get you a look at what we're looking at now at the point in the journey that we're at. We're also going to dive into what I think are some misconceptions, try to give some perspective on where we are in development, all that type of thing. Let's do it. As of now, November 20th, 2023, we are 7 snapshots into this journey. The 7 snapshot launched on October 20th. We get an event in October. We've got the basis for the entire game here, but there's still a ton of the way to go. The studio was founded a little under 2 years ago. We've come a very long way since then, but we still have a very long way to go. We've seen everything from the introduction to the hideout in the very first firing range and one weapon, to blockout versions of the very first map and PvP, to now having several maps in the game, several modes and the DCM tools. We're going to get into that later. The Midnight Ride, the vehicle segment is in the game. Plenty of stuff has been added to the game, and now we're entering a long period of refinement of all of those systems, as well as the expansion of all of those systems. Kind of the building blocks are there, and now it's time to really drill this stuff down and develop it and design them all even further. And there's tons to still be added to the game. But looking ahead, as best as I can estimate, I think right now, again, about 2 years into this journey, I think DEADROP's development is about 30% complete. That's not an official stat, that's just me. We have Sector 3 cold storage, which is not finished, but we know that there's planned to be 7 sectors altogether. We have 2 proving grounds currently. That's Proving Ground 2, which is likely to become Sector 2, and then Proving Ground 3. So we have kind of the bones of about 3 maps. There's 4 sectors to go to make up the 7 total sectors that the game will eventually have. We also have a map that was designed exclusively for DCM, that being Canyon, that is not planned currently to be part of the tower. We've got so much more to come, guys. In the immediate and coming very soon in Snapshot 7, we likely have things like Lua scripting being added to DCM, DEADROP creator modes. We have leaderboards and challenges coming very soon as well. That's during Snapshot 7. And as Dr. Disrespect reminded us during his stream yesterday, nothing that we are seeing or playing in DEADROP in its current form is final whatsoever. This is a very actively in development game. Remember, we are playing a game right now that is still earlier than most developers or publishers will even show you, right? You might get a VIDOC or whatever, some behind the scenes images, but we are playing a game that is earlier than most developers would even be willing to show. It's important to remember, nothing you are seeing is final. The Midnight Ride is not final. The map designs are not final. The gunplay, definitely not final. Recoil patterns, definitely not final. The weapon pool, definitely not final. There's more weapons to come. The character models and the art across the whole game, definitely not final, and in many ways, not even started. Story elements and seasonal things, not final, barely even started. The loot pool, not final. Guess what? There's more. Progression's not here yet. Mission and objectives are not here yet. Cleaner and PvE behavior and enemies, not final. Animations, not final. Do you get the message here? This is just a reminder that, because a lot of us really love this game, love this community, we're so engaged with it and so hopeful about the future of this game in this studio. It's still very, very, very early, and despite the fact that so many of us want to play DEADROP every single day and we want to talk about DEADROP every single day, we still need to be patient, and we have a very long way to go. So I want to do a quick reminder here of what a snapshot is, and to look back at this, I want to start at the beginning, right here on page 4 of the variant guide, released way back when Midnight Society first started on this journey. What is a snapshot? You know, let's look back at the basic concept of DEADROP, Midnight Society, and snapshots, and the open development and testing. Right here from Robert Bowling, Midnight Society studio head, he says, to do this, we are releasing snapshots, which are playable experiences focused around specific milestones. In the beginning, it was every 6 weeks. Now it's about 3 to 4 months. We'll see how that changes. Anyway, every milestone has feedback parameters around weapons, player abilities, gameplay, and play spaces within the game. Our team will be collecting your feedback, prioritizing it, and applying it to upcoming snapshots. So remember, guys, we are not yet in the game as a service stage. This is not a live game. We're not even in alpha. We're not even in early access. Midnight Society is doing open development, and they're putting out these snapshots to see how the community feels about any given feature. So for example, with Snapshot 7, some of the new features added, like the Midnight Ride, like for example, the DCM, which is going to get Lua scripting soon, like Proving Ground 3, like Canyon. Those new features added to the snapshot. The point of making those playable and putting those in the game are to allow us to test them, give our feedback, break them so the developers can fix the problems with it, so on and so forth. The goal of these snapshots, really in an overarching manner, is not to give players super fun things to do and play the game and grind it every day. It's amazing that so many of us want to do that and can have fun with it, in my personal opinion. I remember looking back when I signed up to become a founder for Midnight Society, and we were introduced to this concept. I thought best case scenario, I was in love with this idea of being able to play a game, watch it evolve during development, give my feedback, give my thoughts, and help shape it. I thought we'd all play each snapshot a few times, you know, try the new things in it, and then go back to playing the games that we normally play, whatever that may be, right? And then really Snapshot 5 was the big game changer, because all of a sudden we had this fully playable prototype of a game, really the bones, right? One fully designed map, again, not a final design map, but fully designed map, the weapons, the movement system, all this stuff. The concept really came to life in Snapshot 5, and so many of us fell in love with it. After, what was that, only a year of development or something like that, of a studio that's still significantly smaller than your standard AAA development studio. Like, that's amazing. The fact that we are getting to play this game this early and have this much fun with it, I never expected that, right? Because the core point of a snapshot is to help guide the development of the game. It's not to be a live service game like Destiny 2 or something like that. It's going to get to that point, clearly, as development goes on. Well, maybe comparing it to Destiny 2, not the right comparison, but you get what I'm saying. Once it's fully released, yes, we're gonna have all the features like progression and the customization that we want, and seasonal stories and changes and battle passes and new weapons being introduced every so often, and all that stuff is part of what people call the live service experience of a multiplayer game, right? But just think back at this snapshot concept and keep perspective of that, right? It's kind of like that Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility. We've been empowered to participate in this process that Midnight Society is going through. And it's a very ballsy move, and I have to remind people of this, and I think we should all remind ourselves of this. They're showing you the game development process anywhere, warts and all. It's not like a linear experience, right? It can be very chaotic. Ideas get thrown in there, they get thrown out, they get tested, some work and some don't. You're a game developer, you're used to that, but sometimes if you're a player, you're not really used to that so much, because when the game finally releases, you were never even aware of some of the concepts that were tested or got thrown out, or ideas. Some of them may be great ideas, some of them maybe not so much, but we're all involved in this now, and that's probably why a lot of us are so emotionally charged, is because we're very attached to some of these ideas or opposed to somebody else's ideas. But it's important to remember That's the point of snapshots, to test these experiences, to test these ideas, and then tell Midnight Society how you feel, which is the next thing we're going to talk about, which is both communication and feedback. So one of the things that I want to mention is communication and feedback within the community itself, whether that's a dev or a player, inside or outside. During Snapshot 7, the communication's definitely been ramped up a little bit. You know, Rob did a few AMAs and spaces at the launch of the Snapshot, and he himself said that he wants to see more communication from the studio going forward. The thing to remember is there's a lot of things that they're not going to be able to talk about because they don't want to overpromise on something that they're not sure either A, that they can deliver, whether it's tech-wise or business-wise or concept-wise, or give you a false impression, right? Nobody wants to do that on anything, whether it's game development or something else. You never want to overpromise, so that's part of it. And you know, something like, you know, I've heard monthly AMAs are requested, which sounds like a really good idea. I'm not even going to say that I'm like, why would I oppose that? Monthly AMAs with Rob or whoever. It just, the reality is a lot of these things, it's going to be the same answers for quite a while until there's a big breakthrough, right? Like they can only say so many times. We still haven't reached the point of development yet where Xbox and PlayStation will greenlight a snapshot. They can only say that so many times. You know, month to month, it's probably going to be the same answer. So I could certainly appreciate a monthly AMA or something like that. I'm just not sure realistically how much extra they could share each month compared to the last, especially since we're kind of entering a new phase of development. They're not going to be able to say quite yet if X feature is gonna be in Snapshot 8 or 9. Rob does his best to answer those questions, but you get what I mean. The communication stepped up. I've definitely seen the devs engaging in Discord and conversations with people more during Snapshot 7, which has been great. Like I know Plutologist, the game economist, has been in Discord asking questions and taking people's feedback, as well as a bunch of devs. So if you're not in the 12 a.m. Discord, remember, that's really the place to offer feedback. Of course, the devs are always listening, and this is something else I want to touch on. I've said it in a video before. After meeting so much of the development team in Las Vegas, now, you know, I've talked to many of them, whether it be on stream or in the Discord, but after meeting so many of the devs at 12 a.m. face-to-face in Vegas, I can 100% say that they do take open development and the community sentiment seriously. Like they were asking me questions that I didn't even bring up, asking me my thoughts. What do you think of this idea? What do you think if we did this or that? And one of them even told me like, oh, I read Cairo's 26-page dissertation, and most of the team did during Snapshot 6. Like they are reading your YouTube comments on videos, all of that stuff. Like they actually do listen. That's not just like a PR piece, right? Every dev says that. Every publisher says, oh, we listen to our community, blah, 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 blah. After meeting the devs face to face, I 100% can say that they mean it here at Midnight Society. Now, the next thing I want to point out is actually, let's talk about how to deliver feedback in the most effective way, because this is important, right? Open development only works if the community is offering valid feedback, unbiased feedback, and actually delivering it to the devs in a manner that can be digested and then acted upon to get a result. As we launch into this conversation, remember that all of us are individuals, and our opinions are only as good as our opinions are. You know, each of us, there's 10,000 founders, there's more claws than that. We all have an opinion, but that's just one opinion. None of our opinions are more valuable than anybody else's. You may think you have the best idea in the world, but we're all just individuals. None of us are better than the other. So please keep that in mind. So if you want to deliver feedback to 12 a.m. in the most direct way, you know, gamers tend, for whatever reason, and I shouldn't say just gamers because it's society in general online these days, we tend to get caught in echo chambers, good or bad, and negative echo chambers are much more common than positive ones in most cases in communities, but it's true, right? So the best, most ideal official ways to deliver feedback to the developers, there's really two things. There's a Snapshot 7 suggestions channel in the DEADROP, or I should say Midnight Society Discord. If you have an idea to improve a system in the game, or an idea for something to be added to the game, whatever it may be, that starting a thread or a ticket or a topic, whatever it's called, that way is definitely the most official way to accomplish that. And I know some of the devs have repeatedly said, do that, and we read those, leave feedback in X thread, we're reading it, that kind of thing. The other more official way to offer feedback is within DEADROP. Just open the game, click the little menu up here, or your settings, and then go to feedback right here, and you will find a survey. If you're logged in, at least you'll find the survey on midnightsociety.com. If you go to founder profile as well, once you're logged in, and then click right here, submit feedback towards the bottom of the page, it will also take you to that survey. This is the survey specifically for Snapshot 7. How fun do you find this snapshot? What do you dislike about this snapshot? What do you like about this snapshot? Blah, 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 blah. It goes on. That's an official way to submit your feedback and for Midnight Society to collect data on player sentiment of Snapshot 7. Don't forget to take it. If you're not offering feedback through these more official mechanisms, then you really should be. Remember, like, I wouldn't spend my time doing the other things like commenting on YouTube videos and tweeting or just ranting in your buddy's Minecraft server if you're not doing these things first, right? Like, these are important. This is actual like data collection that they can work off. You can do those other things as well, but don't forget the basics. And by the way, founders who aren't playing DEADROP, who have the ability to play DEADROP, can I please just encourage you all to at least jump in, play whatever you want to play, spend your time however you want to spend it, but play the game. If you're going to hold your founders pass, play it, give your feedback at least, right? Don't just sit on it and hodl the NFT, please. And when it comes to offering feedback, the best example that I can give, or discussing an idea, whether it's your idea, somebody else's idea, Midnight Society's idea, the best example that I can give is Don Draper in Mad Men. And if you haven't seen Mad Men, seriously, go watch it. It's an amazing show with amazing characters, amazing period piece. But anyway, my point is, if you have a good idea, you know it's a good idea, and you should be able to present it cool, calm, collected. Yes, you should be able to defend it and convince people of its validity, but you don't need to go to the highest mountaintop in the world and scream it, or force your opinion on others, or spam chat to try to make sure that everybody sees every single word that you speak about it. You should be able to present it cool, calm, collected, and just accept that some people aren't going to like your idea, and that's okay. That's not the end of the world. We're not always all going to agree. If it's a good idea, you have confidence in it, you can take your idea, take the feedback, find a better way to present it, and it's all going to be okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you know it's a good idea, you know you're going to be okay. And you know that, hey, guess what? If this person doesn't like the idea, somebody else will. That's what confidence is. That's your mayor talk of the day. And remember, it's always better to offer constructive criticism or ideas for refinement in a somewhat positive manner. It's just naturally human psychology to reject flat out like criticism a lot of times. So if you want to really make sure that your idea is going to get through to the most people possible, whether it be a dev or somebody else in the Discord, right? Because let's be honest, the people in the Discord range from probably age 12 to age 65. There's a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life. Try to present them in a way that's like, I would like to see this. I would like to see this iterated upon in this way. I would like to see this changed. I would like to see this added. That's always going to lead to a much more fruitful discussion, usually, most cases, than ranting and raving and screaming and throwing your hands up in the air about how bad the auto shotgun sucks or whatever, right? Like give specific feedback. The auto shotgun's range is really not good. I think the auto shotgun could be buffed if they fixed the range, if they made it hit harder on enemies with armor, Like, look for a specific piece of feedback that you can give, right? Like, yes, if you just say the auto shotgun sucks enough times, the developers will get it. They already get it, by the way. They knew that it was broken before Snapshot 7 even launched, but you get what I mean. Look for a way to contribute to the conversation about getting results. That's always going to be better than just saying you don't like something. I mean, saying you don't like it is step one, but if you can take it a step further, even better. So one common sentiment that I've heard quite a bit is about DCMs, UGC in general. And, you know, for example, we got 6 modes right now that are featured in DEADROP that were created in partnership with Midnight Society and creators. My infection mode is one of those modes. I've got a video out about infection. If you play it, you know, give me your feedback, so on and so forth. But Midnight Society has been clear about this. The goal has never been to add more modes for people to play at this point in development. That was never the goal of adding these DCMs. The goal of adding the DCMs is to test the tools that creators or players of any kind will get to use to create content down the road. That means modes, that means maps, that eventually means skins, outside of the existence experiences, all this stuff. The creative mode, whether you compare it to, you know, UEFN, Fortnite creative mode, whatever, this is the basic step of that. The goal was not to, okay, DEADROP really needs at this moment in time in its pre-alpha state is an infection mode and a high octane CTF mode and a gun game mode. That was not the idea. We clearly hope that people are enjoying those modes, because I mean, why wouldn't you, especially if you're one of the designers like me, and that we plan to refine those modes and make them the best that they possibly can be in the future. The goal here is to test the tools that everybody will get to use, because there's no other, it's not like there's a whole other group of internal testers that are being paid to test this game, right? Like, it's not like other developers that okay, you do an alpha like Call of Duty does, or a beta or whatever. When they do that, that's a public beta, but they've already been testing this game, not just the developers, but there's internal and people who are hired specifically to test the game. That's not really going on in mass with Midnight Society. We are those people, right? We are giving our feedback. So that's the point of adding those features now, is to test them. That's the point. And if you say, well, I would much prefer that the developers focus on, you know, building the 7 sectors, the 7 maps, or adding more weapons, I hear you. That could be valid feedback. But the thing is there's people on the team who are specifically hired to build out these systems on the back end, to build this infrastructure, to build these tools. So it's not like the dude who designs the weapons is sitting there spending his time, you know, building the asset creation tool that's going to be offered within Unreal Engine 5. It's not like the person, you know, shout out to Brad, who designs the maps, for example, is sitting there and working on this stuff. Everybody has their own role, and the team clearly is still being built. That's going to be continue to be expanded and refined over time. The vision here for the open development of DEADROP and the Midnight Society is really leading the way on, which I think could be a revolution for the whole gaming industry in the long run. But you know, cutting that path, being the one to actually forge that path for the first time, can be extremely rough, right? That vision, everything has to be tested. So for example, the cosmetics, which generated a lot of discussion, and the implementation of those cosmetics, whether it be the exotic crates or which items are tradable, all of these things need to be tested, which means they have to put them in the game to let us monkey with them, to see if the systems even work. Did the exotic crates even function? That's our role. You don't need to buy them. That's a whole nother subject, but they gotta be in the game in order for us to test these things. So when DEADROP launches, they're already sure, hey, these things are functional. We've put it through its paces and it's been tested by our community, which is us, by the way. So again, Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility. As I said earlier in the video, all these things that you know, a lot of players are saying that they want, or even the gamers in general want, right? Like the players of any given game, you want more maps, you want more modes, you want more guns, you want more characters or heroes, you want more skins. All of these things are absolutely coming. Progression or achievements or missions or story, all those things are coming, but we got to get the foundational pieces in and functioning. And we're entering the period now where a lot of these systems can be refined, expanded, added on to, so on and so forth. So just like I said, game development or any project, any production of a large scale is very complicated with setbacks and a lot of changes in direction and problem solving from the conception stage to the actual final product. It's tough, it's not easy, and it's crazy that we have a seat at that table. So all in all, guys, I think the State of DEADROP Snapshot 7 is strong. I think the Midnight Ride is the closest thing that we have to a fully fleshed out feature of the game, and it looks and it feels great. There's so much more to come. Everything, like I said, is due for refinement and expansion. All the maps that we're playing on are going to receive further iteration. The gunplay is going to receive further iteration. The art team is really just getting started. There's stuff like DCM, which is just getting started. The eventual marketplace and the high risk, high reward concept and conversation are, of course, still going. The expansion of the loot pool, progression, hopefully eventually story. Call me Midnight Society, I really want to write it for you guys. You get what I'm saying, not single player story content, by the way, to be clear. Maybe like seasonal story content. Anyway, it's all on the way, and it's been an exciting time. We know that from the get-go, the plan for, you know, season 0 is in 2024. We don't know if they're going to make that goal or not, but you know, we still have a long way to go. But what's important is people understand that we are still only a fraction of the way through this process. Continue delivering your feedback. Try to offer it in the most direct and constructive way possible so that the developers can really seize it and implement it. That's going to help the game in the long run. And that's something that's important to acknowledge too, is that no matter what, the developers clearly who are working on this game from day one believe that the game will be better in the long run if they involve us and gather our feedback and our thoughts. Like, don't lose sight of that and offer your feedback. The devs are listening, okay? And everything we've seen, everything we're seeing, even Doc's recent comments about how confident they are in the game in the long run, there's so much to go, and there's so much to be excited about in the future. Just remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Enjoy every step, enjoy every moment, because when the day comes, the DEADROP launches, and it's the game that, you know, we've all been helping to construct, and that you know, we're all thrilled to be sharing with the world, so to speak. That's going to be a really gratifying experience for us all, dev, variant, claw alike. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and this kind of summary of the journey that we've been on so far, heavy with my opinions. If you want more DEADROP Midnight Society content, we do it all. We do game guides, we do live action content, we do news updates, we do everything. Montages. Subscribe to the channel, please. I very much appreciate it. If you made it this far, you obviously liked the video to some extent, even if you disagreed with me. So hit the like button, leave a comment, whatever. I really appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video. Mayor Reynolds, aka Midnight Mayor, out. This video is sponsored by Control, and you can get some for yourself at 10% off at drinkcontrol.com using code 10MAYOR at checkout. They've got all sorts of high protein meal replacement products like their shakes. Also, new protein cookies are out there. And you know, I'm a person who's really into the gym, really into always trying to challenge myself and be healthier. And I would love to see more companies really try to help gamers get healthier and have more nutritious diets, you know, get away from some of those stereotypical gamer diets. So check out Control at drinkctrl.com and use code 10MAYOR to get a discount on whatever your order may be.